It's a very special morning for me, and I'm sorry it's taken so long because I think we've had about 3 dates in the diary to be able to present this award. And of course, you're in a very unique position because you have been awarded a Queen's Award for voluntary service, but it's been presented on behalf of His Majesty. So, and there are not many of those. We have no other in Hampshire. So very unique for you. So well done. But it has taken us some while. It is a huge honour to be able to present this award on behalf of His Majesty the King. But I thought I'd tell you a little bit about what is the King's Award for Voluntary Service, for those who are not familiar with it. Every day, millions of people across the UK are making a real difference by volunteering. And indeed, for those who are avid readers of what's going to happen in the coronation, you'll note that His Majesty is very keen on volunteers and volunteering. And so this fits absolutely perfectly. And each year, wonderful, outstanding examples of work are celebrated with the King's Award for Voluntary Service. And it shows really the work that voluntary groups can do. Its purpose is to recognise groups of individuals who are giving their time freely for the benefit of others. So that's really important. It's the highest honour that can be bestowed upon groups of this kind and is equivalent in status to the MBE. Now, unlike the Queen's Award for Enterprise, or the King's Award for Enterprise, it was only changed its name yesterday, I hasten to add. I've not read the press release, but I was told it was yesterday. But the wonderful things about this is you have it for life. For as long as your trust continues, you are a recipient of this. Whereas for a King's Award for Enterprise, the business awards, they only get it for 5 years. So that's wonderful. So please make very good use of it. I read through your website over the weekend, and I'd love to see a little bit about the King's Award on there, because I'm sure it'll encourage people. So whoever's in charge of the website, make sure you put that on, because it's very important you tell people about this amazing success. It's administered by the Government for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport. And unlike, again, the King's Award for Enterprise, you cannot self-nominate. So businesses can apply for those awards, but this one, you have to be nominated by someone. And once you've been nominated, it then is verified by one of my deputies, who in this case was Mrs. Ferrer, and then a committee in Hampshire, and then we look at all of the nominations, and then it goes through the Captain's office, and we wait until the date when it's announced. Now, nominations must show benefit to the local community. Now, I've been a judge since this award was started in 2002, and that is one of the key things we look at. We also like to look at organisations which have distinctiveness and excellence. We also look for words like exemplary, exceptional, different, sustainable, and volunteer-led. I'll come back to that in a minute. Now, this is what is the staggering part of it. There were only 244 winners last year in the whole of this country. 244. Now, if you think the number of charities there are, they're getting on for 170,000, and they're the ones that are registered. I don't know how many others there are. So it's 200,000 charities. And it's only about 240 every year. So you can see you are a very unique organisation. In the southeast, there are only 52 awards, the whole of the southeast of this country, 52. Now, as it happens, we had our record number in Hampshire this year, or last year, sorry, which was quite incredible. We had 6, but normally we might get 1 or 2. So very special, and you should be extremely proud of what you've achieved. So my first role, Mr. President, is to congratulate formally the Watercress Line Heritage Railway Trust on being granted a King's Award for Voluntary Service. Now, I much enjoyed reading through your nomination form and hearing about the excellent work you do. But of course, actually, I live locally, so sometimes these awards, they're parts of Hampshire which I don't know as well. But I know all about you. Indeed, I came here, Valentine's Day I looked up, back in 2020 when the Flying Scotsman came through Alton. I think we were reopening the bridge. Was it White Down Lane Bridge? And I had a lovely day, and it really brought the whole thing to me, because at that stage you'd close down and then you had to sort of open up there and then close down again. So you volunteers have been through a complete nightmare, and I congratulate you for what you've done. But I have enjoyed of how you've developed. And what I love about this trust is you are very entrepreneurial. And even this week I read in my local paper that you have started a fine dining experience. I think it's called the Watercress Bell.
Certainly is.
Which my wife, I will take her on one day. Now, what should a successful group have? They need to be volunteer-led, and clearly this is the case for you, because you go back to 1974 when a few volunteers. Are there any volunteers here today who were here in 74? Brilliant.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Again, I read in the local paper how many of you done certain long service, which is remarkable. But you came along here and you bought the track bed and you relayed 6.5 miles of track. I just can't conceive that. The other thing we look for is exceptional compared with other groups. Well, there are not really any other groups like you, so you are very special. You have to make a difference locally, and the railway has clearly impacted the local economy, but also you've given so much fun to so many people who've come here. It needs to be well run, and we judge that, and you have to have high standards of governance, financial management and safeguarding. And you have to have an outstanding reputation locally. Well, I think that's one thing my panel looked at, and you clearly are very well known. Now, this venture would not have happened without the enthusiasm and the commitment of those early band of volunteers, the trustees who took the courage to make the decision, and your supporters, all the way through the generation since 1974. So you're all part of it. But I do want to go back to the volunteers, because they are the people who really won this award, and that's what made us think that it was so special. And of course they've undertaken, or you've undertaken, so many other tasks other than just running railways. Yes, the line is a visitor attraction, but the Watercress line is much, much more. And over the 45 years, the volunteers have lovingly restored, I don't know how many derelict stations, but you've certainly done a few of those, and you performed your standards to a very high level of safety standards. Again, reading about your website and various documents, clearly you are a railway, so you have to have and abide by all the standards that modern railways have to abide by. And I think the other interesting point for me as a judge was the self-esteem you've given to certain individuals. Some people who thought they might not be employable, but yet there you are, giving them, young and old, work and skills so that they get the confidence and then to go off and do other things, and hopefully we'll continue working with you. So I will end by saying I really do congratulate you on this amazing special award, and you should be very, very proud indeed. And I will now invite Mrs. Ferrer to read the formal citation, which, as I say, is signed by Her Majesty, but being presented on behalf of His Majesty. Thank you very much indeed.
Elizabeth II, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of our other realms and territories, Queen, Defender of the Faith, to the Watercress Line Heritage Railway Trust, preserving and exhibiting Hampshire's railway heritage. Greeting. We, being cognizant of the said group's outstanding voluntary work in the community, and being desirous of showing our royal favour, do hereby confer upon it the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service by groups in the community 2022. For such a period as the group continues to provide its current service, and do hereby give permission for the authorised emblem of the said award to be displayed on the group's letterhead and other public material. Given at our Court of St. James under our Royal Sign Manual this 2nd day of June, in the 71st year of our reign. Elizabeth R.
I think that deserves a round of applause. So, I'm delighted to be able to present the Watercress Line Heritage Railway Trust with a Queen's Award for voluntary service given on behalf of His Majesty.
Thank you very much indeed. I think so.
This has sat under my desk since last April, and I'm very pleased. I'm handing it over. Will you witness it? It's in full condition. It's quite heavy, actually.
That's marvellous. Thank you very much indeed.
Very well done.
Good everybody. Thank you very much, Nigel. Ladies and gentlemen, may I thank the Lord Lieutenant for coming today to present us with this prestigious award. You've heard a little bit about the background to the award. I was going to sketch that in if for those who didn't know, but clearly I don't need to do that. What I would like to say is that all of you, every one of you, has enabled this. I'm really delighted that there are some who've been here from the beginning. And when you think about how we started back in 1974, a small group of individuals got together, decided they were going to preserve this railway and put it back as it was. When you think that we only had track bed that went from here to Ropley, and that within 10 years we had extended it all the way back to Alton, it is quite an extraordinary undertaking. So this award recognises the really incredible role played by those early volunteers. But it also recognises the role that all of you currently play today. And that is really important. Clearly we cannot run this railway without volunteers. It is volunteer led, as you've heard, it is volunteer operated. And it is all of you, and many of you I know do turn after turn. I presume because you enjoy it, I hope because you enjoy it, and I hope you will continue to enjoy it, and you will continue to come back and do whatever it is you do, and enable us to run our trains and to renovate our coaches and locos and do all the rest of it. But I'm absolutely over the moon that our efforts, our collective efforts, and it is a collective effort that has achieved this award. So well done, everybody. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you do to keep this railway running. And let us all redouble our efforts as we face the challenges that this year is going to bring us. Life is not easy. We've survived COVID. We've survived all sorts of other Hampshires in our past. We will continue to survive and we will continue to thrive. But it's because of all of you people that we do so. So thank you very much indeed, and thank you for coming today, thank you for witnessing this, and thank you for actually creating this for us. Well done everybody, thank you.
He's standing there.